Hello. Welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I'm Michael Pinter. I teach how to start flipping and wholesaling houses in New York. If you're doing how to grow your business, I am coming to you live from Los Angeles, visiting my daughter who lives here. I am at the Grove. I apologize in advance for all the background noise, but I want to talk about why anyone would choose to flip or wholesale houses in New York. All right, so let's talk about why. I can't even see this. First of all, just to reiterate the reasons why you might want to not operate in New York. So, New York has unique challenges, right? New York is the only state where an attorney is going to prepare the contract, not the buyer or the seller. New York is the only state where transactions take a very long time. New York is the only state where an attorney is going to disperse the funds and not a title company. New York is the only state where there are a lot of challenges. So the question is why. I've done business in other states and I choose to do business in New York. So I'm talking about all the good reasons why you might want to operate in New York, why you might want to flip or wholesale houses in New York. So I'm talking about all the good reasons why New York is better than any other state. So number one is the dollar amounts are bigger, right? So I average almost $40,000 per wholesale deal. Those are numbers you're not going to get in a lot of parts of the country. That's number one. Number two is there's an incredibly small amount of competition in New York. I would say 60 to 70% of the time when I make an offer on a house, I'm the only investor making an offer on the house. That's amazing. If you talk to people in other parts of the country, they'll tell you that's unheard of. That's number two. Number three is a seller cannot get out of contract in New York. Impossible. In other parts of the other states, people say, oh, I'm going to go file a memorandum of contract, an affidavit of contract, I'm going to record the contract. That doesn't prevent the seller from not selling to you. All it does is sort of cloud the title, which sometimes doesn't even cloud the title, and sometimes it doesn't mean anything. And even if it means something, it usually means that if the guy tries to sell to somebody else, you can go back to him and get some money from him. In New York, if a seller changes his mind after he's entered into contract with you, you can literally file a list pendants on the property, which is the same as if he goes into foreclosure. If you were a bank filing a foreclosure, and you can literally sue the seller for specific performance of the entire purchase price. So that and the beauty of it is, so people say, well, how does the guy know that? He knows that because he's represented by an attorney, right? That's the flip side of the coin of attorneys, right? Sometimes, most of the time, it's more difficult to get into contract. Things take longer, but the seller's attorney is going to tell him you really have no options, right? I just had somebody call me and say they want more money. I said, call your attorney. They're not going to get any more money. So that's a huge deal. Another thing is when you buy properties here, you always get them free and clear. So if you buy properties at auction, you don't need to run title in advance because any lien that shows up has to be paid for by the seller. Things do not get sold subject to here. Oh, sorry, I got a call. I got to call him back. So those are amazingly good things that I just mentioned. People take them for granted, and people just assume that they're going to have to deal with them. And I'm not saying that New York is this mecca of paradise. I'm just saying that the lack of competition, more money per deal, and the fact that a seller can't get out of contract make things in certain parts of the business much better. You know, I talk to other people in other states, and they talk about their fallout rate with contracts. And I did some deals in Florida, and my contracts fell out too. And I understand that a guy getting into contract does not mean it's going to close. Not by a long shot. And there's no fallout rate in New York, right? I mean, maybe 1 out of 100 will fall out because of some kind of title problem. So it's important to understand that there are huge advantages to New York. I choose to operate here because of those reasons. I like making more money per deal. I like not having competition. I like knowing once I'm in contract that the seller can't get out. I really have control of the transaction. I think that's a good deal. That's a good thing. And these are things that I've grown accustomed to. So while I've done deals in Oklahoma, I've done deals in Florida, I've done deals in a few parts of the country. I may do some deals in California, but in the end, I choose to go back to New York because New York, to me, has incredible advantages over other places, and the lack of competition is really big. The fact that I'm the only one making an offer on a lot of properties is a big deal that I really have come accustomed to. Not always. I lost a couple of deals over the last couple of months to other investors. It happens. Those are the reasons why I choose to do business in New York, why I prefer to do business in New York. And my buddy Greg Helbeck will talk about all these things that make New York better. There are very, very few of us that do business in New York, and certainly I think I'm the only person, besides a couple up in Albany, who teaches how to do this. I'm the only person doing it and teaching how to do it in downstate New York. So overall, that's why I choose to do business in New York. I prefer doing business in New York, even with all the challenges that it brings. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. Please keep the comments coming. I go live 5 times a week. You can ask any question. If it doesn't have to be about the video you're watching, and if it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I've covered before, I'll send you links to videos on it, and if it's something new, I'll do a new video on it. Thank you very, very much for watching.